Right, before I pass out the worksheet, let me talk about it. Okay. I won't have you guys write notes, but let me just talk about it before I pass out the worksheet. How do we call the one? How do we call the one that has 1 0? 10. All right. How do we call the one that has 2 0s? How do we call the one with 3 0s? Now, how do we call the one with 100 zeros? Now we got confused, right? When we have big numbers, that's when it gets really big. So in fact, this number does have a name. That one, probably you guys have seen a different writing of it. This number is called Google. And that's why the website Google, man, that's why the website Google is called Google. If you don't believe me, go to Google and Google why Google is called Google. And they will say, because of the number Google. Right? It's a 1 with 100 zeros. Just writing that number will be pretty annoying. Right? Just writing it. Because you have to write 100 zeros. But because of that case, we came up with what we call scientific notation. Scientific notation will make it way, way easy to write. Right? But standard notation is how we usually see it. That number would be too far. Now, the Earth has a radius of 3,959 miles. Which means like if we were from here to the center of the Earth, we will travel that much. But now, imagine in inches. The number is huge, so that's what we're going to look into scientific notation. Let me pass out the worksheet. Let me take a look at our word. Just write each number in scientific notation. And I'm not even going to give you guys big numbers. I could give you guys the Google, but I'm not going to give you guys big numbers. Scientific notation, we're going to write it in the form of A times 10 to the B. A and B are numbers. Right? A times 10 to the B. The only thing, though, is that A has to be between 1 and 10. It could be 1, but not 10. So A, remember, I said I want to write it in the terms of A times 10 to the B. I said A has to be between 1 and 10, but not too big. So if I look at number 1, that's what, 600,000. That's obviously not between 1 and 10. Where would you place a decimal in there to make this between 1 and 10? Behind the 6 is right there. Alright, so this number, I'm going to write this as 6.0 times 10 to the something. Remember, this is A, because remember I said A times 10 to the B. So our A is 6. 6 times 10 to the something. The something is how many places we have to move the decimal. If I have to move to the right, I'm going to write it as a positive. If I have to move to the left, I'm going to write it as a negative. I can tell that we have to move it to the right 5 spaces. So I'm going to put 10 to the 5th. Right? Positive 5 because we're moving to the right. If we were moving to the left, I would say negative 5. Let's take a look at number 2 as an example. Where will we place the decimal to make the number between 1 and 10? What is it? Behind the 3. So we get 3.72 times 10 to the something. You said behind the 3. If you notice, we have to move it 2 places to the left. So then I'm going to say minus 2 to the negative 2. Once again, if you're moving to the right, it's positive. If you're moving to the left, it's negative. make sure the number before the times is between 1 and 10. Alright, that's the rule. Between 1 and 10. Not too big. So like earlier, what I was telling you guys from the Google, that's easy to write. That's 1.0 times 10 to the 100. Right? It's not that bad. In scientific notation, it's easy. In standard notation, yeah, that would be annoying. Alright, let me take a look at question number 3. Where would I play the decimal to make this between 1 and 10? Right there. Alright, so I will write this as 8.52 times 10 to the 0. Right, we're not moving the decimal point this time, so that's why it's to the 0 part. Right, we're not moving. Once again, the exponent of the 10 tells me how many spaces I'm going to move the decimal point. Because we're not going to move it, so 0 spaces, don't move. Alright, let's take a look at 4. Where will you place the decimal to make this between 1 and 10? And the 5, so 5.0 times 10 to the what? To the 1. Because it's going to start there and have to go towards the end. Every time we don't see a number, a decimal point, like the number 4, we don't see a decimal point, we assume it's at the end. Every time we don't see a number, it's the decimal point is at the end. So it needed to be at the end, so 5.0 times 10 to the 1. Alright, so this takes us what, to number 16? Any questions for the first 16? Yes. Which question is that? 10. Alright, looking at number 10, you said before or after? If we have it before or after, which of the two is between 1 and 10? So that, okay. I see that already answered your question. So remember, we have to put it to make it between 1 and 10. Alright, any other questions up until 16? 14? Where will we place the decimal to make this between 1 and 10? Behind the 2. So we have 2.5 times 10 to the what? Negative 2. Because we're starting between the 2 and the 5, and we're moving it to the left 2 spaces. This week, the entire week, we're going to look at scientific notation. And I'll say today, this work is the easy stuff. Tomorrow will be a little more difficult. Number 5. Looking at number 5, right, where will we place the decimal to make this between 1 and 10? Right? Between the 7 and the 4. Okay, so 7.47 times 10 to the what? 0. Because we're not going to move it. So 10 to the 0. Alright, let me wait on my... I guess my writing thing is processing. Alright, so the first 16 questions, I gave it to you guys in standard notation. Right, that's what we call standard, because that's how we always see it. So I gave it to you guys standard notation and asked you guys for scientific. Starting at question 17, I'm giving it to you in scientific notation, but I want it in standard. So for question 17, I'm going to have 2.93, and it says don't move the point. Alright, so just 2.93. If I skip to question number 19, it says 1.8 and move the decimal 3 places to the left. And I know to the left because it's negative, so probably I might add a couple zeros. So I'm starting between the 1 and the 8, move it 3 places to the left, and I'm going to have this as 0.0018. put another 0 before the decimal, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. It's your choice. So 0 before the decimal is fine. Looking at number 20, start with 2.7, but this case, move 2 places to the right because it's possible. So put an extra 0 probably, move it 2 places to the right, and we finish with 2.7. Any questions for the work? 22. Andrew, you have one? Which? Number 10? Alright, I'll come back to that one in a minute. Looking at number 22, we start with 6, and I know because I don't see the decimal, I'm assuming it's at the end. I have to move it 3 places to the left. Let me add probably 3 zeros. So let's see, we go there, there's 1, 2, 3. So that's what I finished with. And our scientific notation is just for me to move the decimal point. It tells me how many times. And you had number 10. Let's take a look at number 10. We had this one earlier. So we have 8 times 10 to the what? Negative 5. Yes. Alright, so make sure you guys finish your work. However, before I finish tomorrow, bring a calculator. Make sure you guys get a calculator tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get a little different. Still scientific notation, but in our work, we're going to multiply decimals. When I multiply decimals, I mean like 3.25 times 2.82. Something like that. So bring a calculator. You guys are going to need it. Because operations like this, decimals, are going to be there. So we're going to have that. We can do that by hand, but it's annoying. So I can bring a calculator tomorrow. Let me take roll really quick.